Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following this channel, or you might have noticed some shorts about this this particular unit, it freezes often. It's it's a great looking little netbook, but sadly it will randomly freeze. I don't know what the issue is. It freezes under Linux, it freezes under Windows. So I suspect there's a hardware issue. It might even be just that something as simple as the thermals, but I don't know. It seems like I've noticed it freeze sometimes when the thermals aren't maxed out either. So there's something going on. But it tends to freeze out after, using it for maybe a couple hours, or letting it let it sit overnight, and it will freeze. So what do you do with something like this? I tried to install Windows 7 twice, and as I started installing all the updates, it started freezing more and more frequently because the updates, I think I'm putting a lot of demand on the system. So it's something that I struggle with, to see if I could make something useful out of this. I almost got to the point after so much trouble with Windows, and even like I installed Mint on it, and I thought, oh, maybe Mint will work, and it froze under Mint too. So it wasn't like it was just like a Windows driver error or something. There's something going on with this thing. But I thought, okay, well, if you have an unstable system, what can you do with it? Do we just scrap scrap it for parts, or is there something I can do with this? Well, I've had success with Puppy running like a thin client that just has no right to even be able to run anything other than like its original really cheesy operating system. And Puppy ran it like a champ, better than Anti-X or any of these other light distros. It was the all-time champ because it runs in RAM. And if this thing happens to have two gigabytes of RAM, which I upgraded it to, so I decided I'm putting Puppy Linux on there. Puppy Linux 32-bit. It's the Trixie version, based off of, I believe it's Debian. Sorry, so get the angle here so I'm not getting so much. There we go. And I got, of course, a fan blowing on the back of this thing. Try and keep the thermals down as much as I can. But yeah, running off of a Debian core, whatever you want to say, and a lot of hard work done by a lot of dedicated people. And this is where Linux shines to me, because if this thing ran Windows, I wouldn't even be thinking about Linux on this. But if you run in a case like this where you've got kind of like sketchy hardware that's freezing up on you at any given time, what do you do with it? Well, there's something called a frugal install. What that does, it does install Puppy on the hard drive, but when it boots up into RAM, just like it would running from a USB drive, or a thumb drive. And that's the beauty of this system, is it's running in RAM, so it's fast. But the difference is that it basically runs quickly, like instantly, and things open up instantly. And the thing is, I basically have it set up that every 10 minutes it actually saves the RAM instance to the hard drive. So what that means is, sorry, I gotta be actually paying attention here. What that means is basically you've got a sort of a save state of the operating system. So if this thing freezes at any given time, basically it can't corrupt the files, because it's essentially just running in RAM, and the last save state is golden. So you just reboot and it takes you to the last save state. It could be a few minutes ago, it could be up to 10 minutes ago, but it's a save state that works. And the beauty of it is this thing runs very, very fast. So it's actually using that rather weak core, single core, double threaded, it's a, what do we call it here? Atom N455 1.66 system. It actually runs pretty quick. It opens things up fast. Like, I find, like, it opens up, like this LibreOffice, you open up LibreOffice and you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 seconds before it opens. This, it just opens instantly. And one of the things you want to do, so if you're ever setting this up, you have to adjust a few things. And what you want to do is set it up so that it sees your hard drive as a flash drive, more or less, and then it treats it like a flash drive. And the other thing you want to do is you want to go to your hard drive. So this is your hard drive here. You want to go into your hard drive and you want to set up basically a data folder for keeping your documents on. And that way, if you do work to a document, you can basically save it to this folder. And as you're working away, you don't have to wait for like 10 minutes for it to save to a safe place. You just save it directly to the hard drive. So your actual working files are on your hard drive, but your operating system is more or less existing on your in your RAM and running it completely from RAM. And that's why it's so fast. It's like lightning fast, because it's basically just writing right to or drawing right from the RAM. And because the system's so small, it works great. So this is a Trixie Pop 32 Retro is what I'm running. And it has a nice little monitor down here so you can keep an eye on your temps. So obviously the CPU is doing like next to nothing. And you know, the temperature's at 33 degrees. So if that's what's causing it to freeze, it's certainly not running very hot under this system. The other thing you can do is you can dial down the CPU. So this is something I did right where I got it from. Here it is. You can go to CPU frequency scaling and you can set it to the lowest frequency. This thing's so fast in RAM, you don't need a fast processor that's going to spike and raise the heat up, because believe it or not, these Atom processors, they have a tendency to really heat up. There you go, that's the Atom processor there. It originally came with Windows 7 starter, and I actually tried to reinstall it twice and it went nowhere. But under this situation, it isn't freezing yet. If it's freezing because of temperatures, well, it ain't raising the temperature much. Yeah, 33. Now, of course, I got the fan blowing behind it, so that's going to help. But nonetheless, I mean, I was running Windows 7, and the thing was heating up like 55 degrees, 60 degrees, 65 degrees, and then it would just freeze mid-operation. So I don't know. It could be just the heat temp is going too high, and I'd take it apart, but I know if I took this thing apart, 50-50 chance that I'd never get it back together again, because there's so many screws, so many, you know, fooling around trying to take it all apart. You end up snapping this and that and the next thing, pulling wires, whatever. Before you know it, you don't have a functional laptop. So I'd rather just try and keep it where it's at. If I can get like 2 hours use out of it without it freezing on me, well, I'm good to go. That's all I really need. So pup, yeah, so this is a pretty cool scenario here. So yeah, you set it up in a certain specific way, and if you ever want to save the current operating system to disk, you hit save, and it's saved. It's very, very fast. It's one of the fastest things I've ever seen for Linux, or Windows for that matter. I think it's like my favorite OS, just because I love minimalism. If you can keep things very minimal, but yet have everything you need in a system, I love that. And it's so fast on old hardware, because it's just really, it's treating your RAM like a hard drive, like not a hard drive, an SSD, but just lightning fast. So yeah, it's great. And like, you know, like it has the basic sort of stuff that you'd want to be able to do. So of course it has the word processor, and it's got this little bar up here. So it's just kind of almost Apple-like, I guess. And you can install, you know, it has a good number of apps you can install on it, because it's kind of got that Debian base to it. So yeah, I installed, what did I install? Utilities, yeah. I put Zim on it. So that was one install I did. I don't really install a lot, because really honestly, a system like this, because it doesn't run my favorite apps for Windows, I just have to kind of like work with sort of stuff that I can take from the system, and I can export to a Windows format that I can actually use. So that pretty much limits me to, you know, sort of these Abbey Word and G-numeric and, you know, things like that, or just even a text editor, and just working with things like that, just because the system is fairly limited in that sense. But because of the way it's set up, it's actually usable. And I was thinking, well, am I going to scrap it, or can I turn this into something that I can take to the coffee shop and get some work done, and then actually be able to save the work without it being lost, because suddenly it decides to freeze on me. So far, I'm loving it. Let's see if the heat's warming up at all. And opening up a few things. Let's see here. Where is my, did it freeze? Did it freeze? No, it didn't. I just can't see my cursor. There you go. Yeah, steady 33 degrees. Yeah, so yeah, dialing down the CPU, yeah, it really helps too, to keep the temps down. And it's not like when you're actually using it, do you think that this is this like feel slow to you at all? It just doesn't. It just doesn't at all. Yeah, just instantly. Everything opens instantly. And, you know, and then when you even save so it's saving the RAM to the hard drive, well, it doesn't make you go, oh, well, because it's saving to the hard drive, it won't actually do anything. No, it's saving to the hard drive, but watch this. Let's go and let's open up that word processor. Instant, right? So it's not like, despite it saving the entire operating system to the hard drive in, you know, a few seconds, every 10 minutes, it's not impeding your actual work. So it's just, I don't know, I rave about it, because I just think it's like, what a way to salvage a netbook that's overheating or freezing randomly. But you know, if I can get, like I say, I don't need to use this all day long. I just need to use it when I take it to a coffee shop for a couple hours max. If it can be stable enough to do that, or if it does suddenly decide to freeze on me, I'm not losing all my data or corrupting the operating system. That's great. So it's like this parachute that's built right into the system. So that's it. I hope I explained all that to you guys properly. That's my solution for this. You know, I like Windows, but there's times when if Windows doesn't work, then it's Linux to the rescue. And I'm just loving Puppy and what the developers have done with this thing to take something that's really landfill material, make it into a solid system that you can just, like a dedicated writing tool or spreadsheet or whatever other programs that are reasonable in size that you can install. Like I got a desktop wiki on it, so I could start building a wiki with it or whatever. Depends on what you like to do on a computer. It kind of can get the job done. So there you go, guys. Turning e-waste to something useful. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Well, let's see how long it takes to shut down. Just curious. Let's see here. Leave. Shut down. Here we go. A little blinky light there. It just shuts down, like it doesn't like cut through and do all these like all the stuff that sometimes you see some systems doing. I don't want to leave it too long. There we go. Done. And we can then turn off this fan behind here. There you go. So there you go, guys. A working netbook now, using all kinds of little tricks to make this thing really useful. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you could see the end. If you didn't, I understand. But yeah, hope you're having a good evening, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.